In today's lesson, we will be looking at solutions of simple inequalities. And as in all of our other lessons, we have a couple standards that we will be addressing in this lesson. Our first standard here is 6EE5. And we'll also be addressing standard 6EE8. So in our first situation, we have a bag of tomatoes that weighs more than 5 pounds. We want to find the possible weights of the bag of tomatoes. And then we want to represent the possible weights on a number line. Well, the only piece of information we have is that the bag of tomatoes weighs more than 5 pounds. So it could be 6 pounds, it could be 10 pounds, it could be 40 pounds for all we know. But we don't know specifically how much that bag of tomatoes weighs. So since we don't know specifically how much it weighs, we are going to use our variable of x, because it says here to let x represent the possible weights in pounds of the tomatoes. Well, what we do know is that's more than 5 pounds. So we know that we're going to be comparing that x to 5 pounds. And since it's more than 5 pounds, we know that x is going to be greater than 5 pounds. So again, it could be 6 pounds, it could be 10 pounds, it could be 40 pounds. We just don't know. Okay. So we want to represent the possible weights on a number line. So for this particular number line, we start by drawing a line. And we're going to put 5 on that number line because that's the only number we know. You can put extra numbers on the number line if you so choose, but at a minimum, you have to have the number 5 on your number line. Then we put an open circle above the 5. And to show that the possible values are greater than 5, from that circle, we draw an arrow out to the right, because any number that falls to the right of 5 would be a possible solution to this inequality. So if we do the number line for our inequality of w is less than 20, we're going to draw our number line. Again, at a minimum, we have to put 20 on the number line because that's the only number we know for sure. We'll put this open circle above 20, and since w is less than 20, we're going to have that arrow going to the left, because any number less than 20, so 19, 18, 17 on down, would be a possible solution to that inequality. So we're going to use substitution to determine 3 solutions of each inequality, then represent the solution set of each inequality on a number line. So for number 1, h is greater than 8. So possible solution would be 9, 10, 11, and on up. And you could even use decimals here. So as long as it's 8.1 or 8.01, things like that, you can use that as well. But usually it is safer just to use our whole numbers, or our integers. Okay. So then we have to represent this inequality on a number line. So we're going to draw our line. We put 8 on it. We do an open circle, and we go to the right. So for number 2, y is less than 10. So again, we can use 9, 8, 7, anything that is 9 or less. And then we draw our line. We put 10 on it. We do an open circle, and our arrow goes to the left. So for number 3, p is greater than 23. So we can do 24, 25, 26, or anything higher than that. So we draw our line. We put 23 on it. We have an open circle, and we go to the right. So e is less than 14, so 13, 12, 11, anything less than that. Actually make those 2 separate points here. There we go. Again, you can be using fractions and decimals, that is your choice. Okay, but again, it is usually easier just to use the whole numbers. In our number line, we put 14. We put an open circle, and we go to the left. So for number 5, we have m is greater than 30. So 31, 32, 33, and so on. Draw our line, put our number on it. We use 30, open circle, and arrow to the right. And then finally, n is less than 5, so 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and any negative. Draw our line, put a 5 on it, then open circle, and our arrow goes to the left. So in our next example here, Lily needs at least 7 feet of ribbon for her craft project. So we want to find the possible lengths of ribbon that would be enough to complete the project. Then represent the possible lengths on a number line. Well, if Lily needs at least 7 feet, she could have 8 feet, she could have 10 feet, she could have 20 feet. Or she could have exactly 7 feet. So that changes our inequality just a little bit. Well, we don't know how much ribbon she has, so we're going to let P represent the length. And we know that's being compared to that 7 feet. Well, if she needs at least 7 feet, that means she could have more than 7 feet, or she could have exactly 7 feet. So our symbol is now greater than or equal to. When we do our number line, it's the same idea. We draw our number line, we put 7 on it. Except now, instead of an open circle, we have a shaded circle. And what the shaded circle means is that the number directly under that circle is a possible solution to the inequality. So we could put 7 back in for P, and is 7 greater than or equal to 7? Yes, it is, because it is equal to, so it does fit. And then we also need the arrow because any number greater than 7 is also a possible solution. So if we have the inequality of y is less than or equal to -4, we draw our line, we put -4 on it. Remember, you can't put other numbers on. You just want to be careful, make sure that you're putting those on correctly. Since it's less than or equal to, since it has the equal to component, we do shade in our circle because -4 is a possible solution. And the previous ones we did, those numbers were not possible solutions, which is why we did open circles. For example, 5 is not greater than 5, which is why we have that open circle. And then we go to the left with our arrow. So use substitution to determine 3 solutions of each inequality, then represent the solution set of each inequality on a number line. So for number 1, if Q is greater than or equal to 3, we could use 3 and anything higher than 3. So we draw our number line, we put a 3 on it, we do our closed circle or shaded circle, however you want to refer to it, and we go to the right. For D is less than or equal to 12, we have 12 or smaller. And again, you can use fractions and decimals here, but it is usually easier to use those whole numbers. So draw our line, put a 12 on it, shaded circle, and our arrow goes to the left. For number 3 here, where we have K is less than or equal to 25, so we want 25, 24, 23, and so on. We draw our line, we put a 25 on it, we do a closed circle, and we go to the left. And then finally, M is greater than or equal to -28. So we have -28. And then since it's negative, we would go -27, -26, and on up. I will give you this little bit of advice though. If it's greater than a negative number, it's always safest to use positive numbers for your three solutions, because any positive number is greater than a negative. That way you don't have to remember, well, would this be greater than or less than if we're dealing with negatives. So if you're ever going greater than a negative number, the safest answers would be three positive numbers, because those are always going to be greater than a negative number. And we do our number line, we put negative 28 on it. We do our shaded circle, and we go to the right. So just a couple reminders here about those circles. The empty circle indicates that the value below the circle is not a solution to the inequality, and the shaded circle indicates that it is a solution. And that is all for today's lesson. As always, I hope this helps.